I'll show you 2014 horror mystery Last Shift. Be safe and vigilant. Jessica is on the phone with her parents in her patrol cruiser outside a police station. Her mother is scared that she become a police officer like her father, who died in service. She prefers not to discuss it on her first day. She ends the discussion. Jessica reluctantly approaches the station. It appears nobody is around. She enters to look. She sees a man yelling and hears other noises in the distance. Jessica is told to stop talking and turn around. Introducing himself as Sergeant Cohen, he approaches her. He tells her this is the old station. She got the last shift as a rookie. Colin claims the new station has taken all calls. In an emergency, she might give him walk-ups. She should call the station. Cohen shows her the kitchen but warns her about holding. Jessica asks him why he's not a security guard. He claims she must be present to handle the evidence. In the night, Hazmat will remove it from the station. He tells her he will take over after her shift and not to leave the grounds. Jessica becomes lost in her book and almost falls asleep. She suddenly notices a hallway light is broken. When the phone rings, a woman claims to be trapped and fears for her and her family's lives. When she requests the place, woman's call ends. Jessica quickly calls the new station. Because she failed to get the caller's critical information. They only promise to investigate the call. She walks over to see if it's Cohen after hearing something in holding, presuming the calls were misdirected. Jessica searches for the banging sounds but finds nothing. Later, when eating lunch in the kitchen, she finds a long hair in her sandwich. An unexpected rap sends her running to the front doors, but no one is there. Turning around, she sees someone at the station. Jessica sees him peeing on the floor as she orders him out of the station. She grabs for her baton to reason with him, but fails and pushes him away. Before hand-washing, Jessica cleans the station. She finds boots among the pipe's weird sounds. The homeless man discovers them outside, and Jessica leaves. Her return inside brings another sound. She finds a filthy restroom in the station gym locker room. She unlocks a locker with a key and finds a photo of herself and her father. Her locker is locked, but all others are unlocked. Another call arrives unexpectedly. The same woman begs for help. After Jessica learns her identity, the woman says she was abducted and hangs up. The garbage collector calls again at the same time. The man tells her they'll be late. Jessica calls the new station again to remind them. Officials say the girl is calling the station instead of 911. Jessica recommends dialing 911 next time she calls. Jessica reads the guidebook while waiting for another call. The raft behind her moves suddenly. She finds nothing wrong throughout her inspection. She hits the other refs when she sits down. Another backyard sound, Jessica. Someone opened one of the doors, and now she hears another sound. She calls in to prepare for her inquiry. After contacting the radio, she gets a song. An extra sound activates the station's alert. Jessica quotes manual passages on her way to the noise. After entering a messy room, she nearly slips over a box before recognizing the homeless man is there. He ignores her to discover anything else. Therefore, she climbs to get him. She deprives him of powers and arrests him. Wailing can be heard outside as Jessica brings him to the holding area, but he fights. She finally dragged him inside and closed the door. She stands despite the man's attacks. After being imprisoned, Jessica yells for help unlocking the cell door. She worries about losing the flashlight as a ghostly face appears on the window. The homeless man with the flashlight is heading for her. "Remember, I'm armed," she tells him. The illumination reveals the unconscious homeless man on the corner. Is him with someone else? Jessica wonders. It sounds like a youngster talking. As she pounds on the door again, a voice asks whether she wants to escape alive. Jessica nicely demands her flashlight. Once again, darkness falls. Additionally, Two figures flank her. Power is restored, and cell doors open. She goes outdoors to calm down after shutting the prisoner in. After Cohen doesn't answer, Jessica leaves a voicemail. However, she doesn't tell him. She pulls back to calm down and sees the words carved into the ceiling. She instructs a woman outside the station to leave when she checks the doors. For safety, Jessica lets Marigold finish her cigarette outdoors before she walks inside. Marigold says she's new too. She tells her she shared a cell with the Payman killers who committed suicide at the station after kidnapping and killing females. The murder of Jessica's father at the scene alerts her to the case. She knows the crooks died there. Marigold believes they revived them and heard them singing a spooky tune in the cell next to her. By snagging their bedsheet, they committed suicide. Jessica is surprised when Marigold extinguishes her cigarette. She finds an on TV during her station sweep. Television shows an interview with the shooter's brother-in-law. Two more TVs air Payman sisters' interviews. John Payman discusses Satan in a flashback. As we replay the interviews, the sisters repeat themselves. John makes an absurd threat on tape, pretending to address Jessica. As a chair swings to her, someone looks to be sitting on it. Once it knocks Jessica down, she'll scramble to answer the phone. The same girl claims the other girls were murdered. The perpetrators can't stop thinking about Marigold's refrain. The girl refuses to call 911 despite Jessica's persistent efforts. Jessica advises her to leave before the call ends. When Jessica asks if the girl knows John Payman, she says yes. After making some connections, Jessica calls the news station again and details the girl's story. She fears the Payman family survivors will capture her, she tells the officer. He laughs as he tells her they are all in police custody and being constantly monitored. He then instructs her to contact him with the police report reference number if she has any information. He closes the call with her thanks. From across the station, she hears whistling. Jessica scans an office chair-filled space but is distracted by activity. She turns around and the seats are completely different. Jessica is fed up and thinks the other cops want her because she's a rookie. The bell rings unexpectedly as she hurries to the station to check for anyone. He wonders if he was the only one who pranked her, she wants to know. He appears confused by her words. Do they employ that trick on other rookies? Jessica inquires. He identifies himself as Price, saying he just came to check on her. Price begs her to let him in. Conversations occur across the station. She thinks he was ordered to ask about her shift. She tells him the homeless man is leaving. He laughs and recalls a criminal peeing on his police car. Jessica relaxes when he says he knows her father and came to check on her. She asks if he was there that night. Price recounts her ordeal. Despite their early arrival, they heard the women crying for compassion. Since they entered the premises alone, her father escorted the Paymans and rescued some girls. He tells her her father was one of the two officers slain on scene. Price sees a massive hole in his skull as he passes the window outside and says her dad would be proud of her because he was a good cop. His disappearance is sudden. Jessica follows his phone call to find him. Voices from all throughout the station surround her suddenly. She sees a corpse move suddenly in the corridor. Something unusual happens as it floats and moves. After emerging from cover to check on the man, he leaves, so Jessica pulls her gun. Screams from the man's cell stun her unexpectedly. He begs to leave. He stands aside as she asks about his health, displaying his cell's 3 specters. Jessica insists it's fake. He begs her to free him from the cage, crying. She returns to the song's source and finds a circle of girls singing The Ghost Girls' Turn, with blood on their faces or appearing normal in their reflections. They disappear when she closes the door. Jessica enters the evidence room after hearing another ruckus outside. She finds a messy pile of men's clothes in the middle of the room. Jessica grabs a phone and calls Cohen. When he asks why she's calling, she says she's seeing things. Jessica cannot work a whole shift. Cohen calms her anxieties and again calls to guarantee she will stay until the shift ends before hanging up. He asks not to be contacted again. Her identity is asked the rubbish removal service when they would arrive. When he tells her he's unsure, she promises to meet them outside with her squad car. Jessica rushes back to the station when the phone rings. Reminds her of her escape. The same girl. After reporting a sign, Jessica keeps calling dispatch from her cell phone. Jessica asks whether the girl has a weapon after she acknowledges she's dying. Again, she cuts services. Jessica calls the new station using the number she was given. The cop then calls to say the girl who was calling the station had died. Jessica is stunned. Police say she was the latest victim of the payment and was battered to death. One or more payment commune members who escaped capture may have played a sick joke on her. It might be specters. The officer says strange things have been happening at the station since the payments committed suicide. Jessica stops the call once the photo falls accidentally. The photo is of her deceased father. She sees other visions of the females who perished at the same crime scene on the ground. One more expense. Shutting her eyes, Jessica hopes it will pass. She awakens to see the photos organized along the corridor. Jessica thinks about crying as the payment family's mug photos appear. Pictures burned suddenly. While lying on the corridor floor, Jessica hears her phone ring. On the other end, her mother apologizes for raising her father. Jessica discovers her gun is missing. She discovers someone in the corridor unexpectedly, but is knocked out as she chases. A woman awakens in the interview room. Jessica can't discern fact from fiction anymore. The woman tells her she would have done everything to get John's payment and that he should have come that night. After telling Jessica she had to find him, she asks whether she saw him. She shoots herself with Jessica's handgun after professing to be there to honor his 1-year death anniversary. Jessica grabs her pistol and holster and answers the phone as she passes the dead. Jessica's death notification is delivered to the same girl. When she hears the bat, she laughs. You can hear me punching her on the phone. Jessica hears the rumble and sees the girl under her desk. Jessica hides in the rafters, but the spectre chases her. She finds Jessica and tells her she wants to live. As the spirit leaves, Jessica rushes to the door. No door will open, and she can't fire out. Ringing phone beside her. Her father calls. He assures her that she is as determined as he is, but he concerns her decision to quit after he died for the job. Jessica regrets and refuses. She must act immediately because the killer is still in the building, he says. Homeless man walks past her unexpectedly. She orders him down after asking about his escape. He becomes a phantom as she comes to handcuff him. Jessica checks his cell and finds his body. It says King of Hell on the walls. Jessica gets static on her radio when she calls the news station for aid. Music resumes after screams. The radio spews blood, and a ghost appears alongside her. She sees the payments doing a ritual in their cell before suicide. In front of Jessica, Johns removes the sheet. Suddenly, specters emerge on the projection and near her. Price also comes and commits suicide. John is almost understanding her until she finds a photo of her dad and reads the police codex. Her dad calls again to remind her they're coming. He insists her stop their behaviors no matter what. When she sees masked men, she shoots. Find us, they say. Jessica pursues them in the evidence room. Awakened by their voices, she pursues Jessica, shoots, and follows the others. She did. Kills one and disables another. He mentions the devil, and she shoots him. She gets shot instantly. 2 Cohens, one armed, appear behind her. She turns to see that the man worked for the waste pickup company after killing him. Actual events unfold in flashbacks. Jessica is stunned. She killed all the corporation personnel who were supposed to manage the evidence. While Jessica sings the 3 payments, Cohen escalates. Mysteries appear. With her, go. Subscribe and activate alerts for more videos like this. Thanks for your time.